Welcome back to Border Life, where Sandy McCracken is on the third leg of his journey along the River Tweed. And this week, he finds glamping pods and jousting nights.
The River Tweed is central to the culture, landscape and history of the Scottish borders. Over the course of nearly 100 miles, the Tweed transforms from a slow trickle of water in the Lowther Hills to a mighty river at Berwick-upon-Tweed. As plans are being drawn up to create a walking route that will run alongside the river, we're taking our own journey from source to sea. This time, we're exploring the heart of the Tweed Valley, from the royal borough of Peebles to the historic town of Melrose. In recent years, the Tweed Valley has become world-renowned as a venue for outdoor sports, attracting elite mountain bikers, hill walkers, horse riders and now canoeists on a new Tweed trail. This adventurous spirit has certainly caught on with Margot and Eric, who have decided to set up their self-catering pod site high on the sloping hills between Peebles and Innerleithen.
As a child, I grew up, we swam in the Tweed, we'd walk the dog by the Tweed, and there's always been a draw, I think, for the area. We moved away and came back 12 years ago. It's a great place to live.
The Tweed is almost nature's highway for pulling everything together, whether that's wildlife, whether it's people, whether it's history. So we looked at this site as being ideal for a very small, tranquil, sort of nature-focused glamping site. We bought the land and then we set about putting plans in place to build these 4 pods.
You've got a kind of ethos that is sort of to leave the car behind. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, we really encourage our guests to leave the car behind when they arrive. You've got the multi-use path just down here by the Tweed. You can cycle to Glentray or cycle into Innerleithen.
You've not only built the pods, you've also sort of built your own forest.
Yeah, Borders Forest Trust did a grant programme and we planted about 300 trees. We've created sort of brush piles which form great habitats for hedgehogs.
And it's a big appeal to guests as well.
Absolutely.
They'll often comment and say, oh, we had such a great time. We saw badgers, foxes, you know, all sorts.
We feel around here that there's so many activities ongoing within the hills. Everybody's seen the benefits of that, but we feel that you're kind of morally bound to put something back into the environment around us.
If any place in the Borders is used to visitors, it's Traquair, Scotland's oldest inhabited house, which over the years has played host to over 27 kings and queens. This weekend sees them celebrate their heritage at the annual medieval fair. This colourful display of historic pageantry regularly brings thousands of visitors to the estate to get a flavour of times gone past.
We've been running this for about 20 years. It's the only authentic medieval fair in Scotland. Because we are essentially a medieval castle, this seemed like the perfect event to have here. Probably the highlight for most people is the spectacular jousting and the horses, which happens on the main avenue. And we have just the best place to do jousting because you've got the backdrop of the house and it looks absolutely fantastic.
Does that reflect the kind of history of Traquair and the kind of more dramatic side of what happened here?
Well, interestingly, Traquair was always almost a sanctuary. It seems to have been an incredibly peaceful house. It was very rarely attacked, only really once or twice in its history. So although we were in the middle of the Borders, which had an immensely dramatic history, Traquair itself was really unscathed, which is why it's so extraordinary it's still here.
Here we go.
Can you tell us about how the story of Traquair relates to the story of the Tweed?
Well, it's really integral to the whole story of the house because Traquair is literally built on a riverbed. It was actually built right beside the River Tweed. Traquair means a dwelling place by the Quair, and the Quair is just a very small tributary that runs into the river, literally about 200 yards away. And amazingly, in the late 1600s, they felt that the river might be ruining the foundations of the house, so they moved the river about 100 yards further away.
How did the people who lived in this house over the years use the Tweed?
There's actually a sort of area just in the woods there that's called the ladies' bathing pool. So they were obviously traditionally would have used the water to bathe in. They were doing their washing by the river because there's traces of old wash houses there. So it obviously meant a lot to them. The interesting thing was that they, for a long time, really up until the 19th century, they were having to ford that Tweed, often just to get to the other side. And the way they did that was if the river was too high or they were walking through it, we have stilts that actually they walked over the Tweed. So they experienced the river in many different ways.